up, hiker likers? Today I am out on the Shawangunk Ridge, and I have a short hike for the woods lover in you. Today we're at Graham Mountain State Forest. It's a small park outside of the village of Otisville in Orange County, New York. Graham Mountain is a heavily wooded area with deciduous trees and small shrubs. There's a wetland area that pumps out a stream that feeds into the Bashakill, which is outside of the park. You won't find any scenic sweeping vistas in this park, but spoiler alert, there is a fire tower. Since I'm being told this is a visual medium, we'll stop looking at me and we'll take an overview of the park, starting with pretend drone footage. From Mountain Road, you'll want to turn onto Marianne Drive. It may look like a private road with its blue street sign and mailbox out front, but it is a state road. At the end, you'll find the parking lot. A second way into the park is by walking in at the red or white trailheads from the Shawangunk Ridge Trail. The white and red trailheads start together right at the parking lot. They are pretty hard to miss since chances are you've parked right in front of them. If you wanted to skip the trails, the Graham Mountain Fire Tower is about 50 yards south of the parking lot. We're going to save that for last. So we're going to start today's hike on the White Trail. The trail is a little over a mile long with a 490-foot descent to the SRT. The trailblazers can be tricky to follow as you go through the ravine since there is some light rock scrambling. As long as you don't stray far from the stream, you should be okay. At the end, we'll meet up with the SRT. We'll go back following the red trail. At just under a mile long, this trail is the easier of the two. There is no rock scramble to make things difficult. It is just a steady climb upward. Once we return to the top of the mountain, we'll head over to the fire tower and end this hike. The White Trail, sometimes called the Ravine Trail depending on the map. Both the red and the white start together and end together. The White Trail is a steady decline downward from the parking lot. It's not too steep until you get near the ravine, and then it will drop about 300 feet within a third of a mile. There's some light rock scrambling you'll have to do inside the ravine, and it can get a little tricky keeping track of where the trail markings are. But enough preamble, let's see that rock scramble. That was clever. And thus we can close the chapter of the White Trail, or start it again if you're coming from the Shawangunk Ridge Trail, which is right behind me. If you're traveling along the SRT, you'll see the red and the white trailheads, but you won't see any sign that says, "Graham Mountain State Forest lies before you. Come for the fire tower, stay for the ticks." The red trail comes in at just under 1 mile. It's a lot wider than the white trail and a lot more easier to navigate. It's a steady climb upward about 500 feet. Nothing too steep, nothing too crazy. If you've been hiking the SRT all day, you'll definitely feel the burn going up. If you're a bit exhausted from the white trail, you'll definitely feel the burn. But that's a good thing, 'cause I like to burn things. As you come up the red trail, you'll see that it bears to the left, but there's an unmarked trail to the right. In the mid-19th century, this area, as well as many places on the Shawangunk Ridge, was used for mining. This mountain saw mostly zinc and lead mining. It was after the Civil War, when the price of lead declined, that a lot of these mines shut down. Since the unmarked trail leaves the park, I'm not going to show it here, but if I do a video in the future, I'll leave a link to it above. Woo! The unmarked trail leads to some abandoned mines, and it will connect with the Shawangunk Ridge Trail. Since it leaves the park, I'm not going to cover it here, but if I do in the future, there'll be a link to the video over my shoulder. So that pretty much sums up the red trail. We're back at the red and white trailhead by the parking lot. However, this is called the Fire Tower Trail, so we can't leave until we see that fire tower. Let's go! Here we are at the top of the fire tower, and it's starting to rain a little bit. This tower was decommissioned in 1989, and from the condition, it shows. I am not a tower grading expert, but I do know comic books pretty well, so I would say this is in fair condition. If Stan Lee signed it, you can probably get a decent market value for it. So let's take a look at that view, and through the magic of editing, you can see it's no longer raining. To the west is Port Jervis, and you can see a little bit of the Delaware River, and also the highest peak in the state of New Jersey, High Point State Park. The south and the east looks down towards Pine Island and Warwick. And on a very clear day, if you had a good pair of binoculars, I'm told that you can see the New York City skyline. There's Middletown to the east, and the Otisville prison can be seen in the northeast. And looking north is Wartsboro and Forestburg. So that is Graham Mountain State Forest, and I hope to see you all on the trails.